of testing activity. If you see the waterfall model, what waterfall model says, testing will be done after the complete coding phase. Till then, testing is not initiated. But the purpose of verification throws a very important thing, and that is the necessity of starting the testing activities right from the requirement stage. Right? That is what the verification says. Verification is a kind of another testing activity. So what you're going to do during the verification process, you are going to go through all the documentation part. Ongoing all the documentation part, you are going to make up, or you are going to come up with all your cases, test cases, the way that you are going to test that particular application. You're going to come up with all the cases. All right. So it throws the importance of early testing. Right. Testing should not be initiated after the development phase, but it has to be carried out right from the requirements phase, and that is nothing but called as early testing. Right, early testing. Testing team should enter right from the requirements phase. Yes, please.
No, back to the start.
Okay. Right from the requirements phase or the starting phase. This is what early testing say. Right. So what is the testing team going to do during the early testing activities? They are going to do the verification process. So what do you mean by what does the testing team do during the verification process? They are going to make sure that their test cases are ready, which will be handy for the validation purpose. And that lays the foundation for the next model called as V model. All right. So in the waterfall model, how was the structure for us? In the waterfall model, the structure was requirements gathering. This has to be freezed, right? Then once this is freezed, then comes your analysis. This has to be freezed. Then comes your planning activities. This has to be freezed. Then comes your design activities. This has to be freezed. Only then you will be able to enter into the next phase called as coding. Perfect. So this has to be freezed. Then the testing team will be doing the testing activities. Alright, once this is freezed, that means you're giving a sign off, and whatever the other changes that comes after this sign off, they'll be handled during the maintenance. Once maintenance is freezed, then it means that this is the complete sign off of the project, and the project is completely done, and they are not going to come up with any set of requirements. They are done. They don't want to add any other functionalities. They're happy with it. So this is where they're going to end the maintenance activities. Till then, the life cycle goes on. Like yesterday, there was a question, like what happens during the maintenance part if there are any other defects that are coming through. Even for the defects, they have to follow again from the first. They have to again go through the things. Like the defects can be leading to a new set of requirements or an existing defects. Never knows. So they have to again follow. Until the complete project is finished, they'll be following the same process. So it's a linear model. Waterfall methodology is a linear methodology where you'll be able to enter into the next phase only the phase above it is freezed. Right? Unless it is not freezed, you'll not be able to enter into the next phase. So this is what our waterfall model is. But our V model has throughout the importance. This was implemented with the help of two important concepts called as verification and validation. Right. And the other thing that I would like to give you is I'm not going to give you any definitions, any textbook kind of definitions. It's all a kind of a practical approach that I'm going to give you. Okay. So see, what happens is during the interview, no one will be asking you the bookish kind of questions. They want to be in a practical way, because you are the one who is going to be what they put forward as an experienced guys. You're not going to be as a freshers. So if you're going to be as a freshers, you need a bookish knowledge, right? A definitions that you write. But Here you need a knowledge with which you're going to say that yes, we worked in the past. Right? We need to know such kind of representation, the way to represent the things, and that is why I'm not going to give any bookish kind of definitions. Okay, it would be in a way that gives you more information on that particular concept, and that will help you to make your things clearer or make your way in a way that needed to you to be working in your organization. Okay, right. So here verification. What are we going to do during the verification? In the verification, we are going to ensure that the process that we follow will be giving us the right product or not. Right. Yeah, if I follow this documentation, if I follow this particular design, will I be getting the correct output that I'm looking for? That is what is necessary. All right. That is what is necessary. For instance, if I take few requirements, let's say requirements for a flight booking. Okay. And what are the requirements? You have to give a to field. Right. To, I mean, where you wanted to go, from, start date, end date, and what else? I mean, just searching for the flights. Okay. Let's say we are going to search a flights. Okay. Then what else we need? We need number of people who are going. Okay. So persons, like let's say adults and childs. Adults and child. I mean, you have to give the count. And what do you have to do? What else you give? Class in which you wanted to travel, either economy, first class, or whatever it is. And then you need to have a submit button. Now, are the requirements clear to you? Perfect.
Yeah.
Will it match? Just go through that.
No.
Why? What is missing in it?
When you're going at the airport,
Sorry?
into the airport, you're going to leave from.
I say to and from. Okay, to is a place where, like I say, in to, if I select IAD, then I'll get IAD. If I say JFK, I'll get JFK, whatever it is. Dates, I gave start date and end date. So that is a date calendar that pops up.
Time.
Your search results is based on your dates, right? You're not going to specify the time. You're not going to specify the price. If I open a travel website, will you place a price?
No.
These requirements are for searching the flights only. These requirements are only for searching the flights only. But this requirement has got something which is important that is missing. No. Observe it. Think in a general user perspective, you'll get that particular
Transit, how will transit?
No.
Fixed it.
One way or two ways. Perfect. I want to book only one way journey. I want to go only to New York. I don't want to return back. Now here, there is no option for me. I mean, these requirements is not giving me any option to select one way or round trip. I need to have this information as well, but I don't have this information. Now, can I say these requirements are clear for me?
No.
So how will I get this information? When I wanted to say, like I want to, without this, if I want to test one-way journey, if I want to test a one-way journey, I'm trying to create a test case for one-way journey. So can I make with the requirement, with this set of requirements? Can I go with that set of requirements? No, I cannot. It definitely pops me out to select the end date as well. I mean from field as well. To and from, start date and end date. End date in the sense here return date. Don't get confused, okay? Okay, start date.
On one way and two way, it's either one way or two way is the first thing.
Yes.
For everything.
Right. So what should happen is user should be given a preference to select the ways of his travel. Right, whether he wants to go a two-way journey or a single-way journey. Based on that, these dates will be enabled or disabled. Like let's say I'm choosing only one way. then what should happen? I don't want to see this particular return date getting enabled. They should be disabled because I don't want to select the return date. I don't want to come back. So this will be disabled if I select one way. So that means a small requirement will have a different set of functionalities that will be driving through within the application. Even if we miss a small requirement, that will lead us to a big failure in the future. All right. Had it not been verified, if we are following the waterfall model, had it not been verified, at the end, if it was found by user that he was not able to make this one-way journey, then what they have to do, they have to again correct the BRD. BRD should say specifically that it has to have a one-way journey as well. Then they have to collect their system requirements. Then they have to correct their planning because they have to meet that requirement. Then they have to correct their design because design has to give a flow graph regarding this journey, one-way journey. What happens if he gives this one? Because again, this has got its own limitation. Yes, I select one-way journey. I select two field. All right, within two, I'm selecting a place where there is no airport. Right. I want to go to let's say my place Rajahmundry. Though it has airport, it does not have any international connectivity for now. Let's say I want to travel to a Rajahmundry place in India. I don't have an airport, for example. Let's assume that. Now, if I give Rajahmundry over there, what should I get there? Message should be you should be seen with a message, right? No match found or no airports, no destination, whatever it is. You have to get that particular relevant information. So within a one requirement, you'll be having n number of things that is coming through, that can come through. So you have a positive case, and the positive case is to book a one-way journey. But the negative cases are surrounding around are giving a past date as your date of journey. The past date should not be enabled. Have you ever observed it when booking your flight ticket? Did you ever observe it? From today's date, the dates will be enabled. Yesterday date will be disabled. Check it out. If you see now, from now onwards, try to see everything in a negative manner. I mean, the websites, not the persons, okay? Look at the websites, everything in a negative manner. So think what should happen here, what should happen there. Okay? So that will give you a more practical understanding on the applications. Okay, that will drive your future as well. Okay, so this is what, without verification, had we gone this, I mean, if the user has started implementing this, then they would have then there would be a cost effective one. I mean, the cost increases because they have to again get this particular thing done. It will be a cost process. All right, so that is what you do here. So as part of your verification, when you are about to write the test cases, you'll get an idea like what happened to a single way journey, and that is missing in the requirements. So what you do, you will be creating an important notes called as RCN, and this is called as requirement clarification notes. These terms are little important for you. All right, technical terms important for you. Requirement clarification notes, that means you need more information on that particular requirement. Something is missing from the requirements for which you require a clarification. All right, how this is coming, how you're coming to this particular RCN? By verifying your requirements, because during the verification process you're going to get the things, I mean, your test cases implemented. So during verification, what you're going to do, you're going to check whether the process we follow will give us the right product or right application or whatever it is, whatever the thing that is under testing. Okay, understood about verification? Right, done. Now the next point is validation. Now at the time of verification, do we have any application in handy? No, we do not have anything in handy. We don't have anything in hand. When I say application in handy, I do not have a live application in front of me. I have only documentation with which, yeah, I'll be explaining you that, with which I'm gonna make my verification done. All right, so validation is going to be performed when you have a handy application. I mean, after coding, whatever the activities the test engineer perform after the coding is completed or after the development is completed, on an application that is available for us. That process is nothing but our validation process. If I'm trying to test this particular notepad, so notepad is an application for me. I can go and test this like file. I have all these particular options. I'll be testing all these particular options. Edit. I have all these particular options. So I'm going to do all these particular activity because I have a handy application. Prior to this, if at all the notepad is in development process, I'd be having only the requirements. So based on the requirements, I have to write my test case. I will not be having any handy application. So our first and prior important thing is we should be able to know as how to write the test cases with the help of the requirements. Will not be given an application to write the test cases. Okay, we'll be given only the requirements documentation initially. Based on that, we have to think ourselves and we have to write the cases. We'll be learning that part as well as how to think around each and every requirement. What are the different ways that we are going to surround around the requirement and how we are going to write it. Okay, and Sonija, like she asked about requirement clarification note. So requirement clarification is not is nothing but you need more information on that particular requirements. All right, this is a kind of a document that is maintained within the testing team to post the questions they have on the requirements, and these questions will be answered by who is going to answer these questions? Perfect. These questions should be answered by the BA, business analyst. Why BA has to come into picture? Because BA is the one who is interacting with the technical team of the client. So he is the one who is going to talk to the client technical team person, and he'll be answering to the questions that we have or the testers posted. Okay, that is what RCN is. Is that okay, Sonija? Testing the handy application to ensure that the product is right. That is what we do here. Okay, now this verification and validation are together handled in case of our V model. So how is that happening in case of our V model? Let me use my existing one. Let me use the picture again. We'll save our time. Already we lost time there. Created somewhere the whole model. Okay, let's forget about it. I'll pick this. This is what is happening in case of your waterfall model. You have everything in line, following a linear manner. Okay, so this is what our V model is. System is very slow. This is Windows 7. Okay, I did not bring that machine. This is another machine. Okay, this is Windows 7. This is another machine. Okay, so this is a V-shaped model. Okay, or a V model. So what happens is, like each and every phase, what we do is, yesterday I have given you the document, I mean the things, right? So what happens is, each and every phase, you have your requirements and planning phase, and then your product requirements and specification analysis is nothing but your complete system requirements that is going to be handled over there. Then your HLD place, the design phase, and your detailed design. When I say detailed design, it is nothing but your LLD phase, low level design. Then your coding starts. Your unit testing, or this is your component testing as well. Unit testing is done by the development team. Okay, so we do the component testing over there, and then your integration testing, then your system testing, and then your production and maintenance. That is a place where the end user does the user acceptance testing, and then he releases into the market. Okay, so yesterday I did not include all these terminologies like production and operation, maintenance and everything, but I gave you in a different approach to make you understand what the things are actually, what happens in each and every place. The first place is our this one, project and requirements planning. So what is the first phase in our SDLC? Requirements gathering. This is what happens over there. You're going to gather all the requirements. So what does the requirements gathering include? It includes all the business requirements. That means user criteria. What exactly the user requires. It will be having all the user criteria. Okay, so that place, during that particular area or that particular phase, the testing team does a particular activity called as a verification, where they're going to make their UAT test cases ready, which would be handy for them at the time of UAT testing activities. Likewise, your product requirements and specification analysis, that means you're going to do an analysis over the BRD, I mean the requirements documentation, which is BRD, and they're going to make their complete system requirement specification, SRS documentation, that is available during the second step, where the testing team would be preparing their system test cases, and that would be handy at the time of your validation system testing activities. Likewise, you have your HLD documentation that is available by the design team, right, after your SRS. All right, so during that particular phase, when I say HLD, you'll be having a high level overview of the entire implementation. That means the lower level components are getting integrated, because everything is not implemented in one day. So they go by part. So first a component is implemented, then another component is implemented, then both are integrated. All right. So high level design will talk about the integration part, complete integration part, and it will give you a high level picture of that particular subject or whatever the point is. Okay. So there you're going to make use of your integration testing activities. So what you do is basically you check how the modules are communicating between each other. All right, I have a module A, I have a module B. How the communication is happening between both the modules? Is the data properly being transmitted or moving properly from one module to another module? Were the modules communicative? That is what we do. Is the information properly being migrated from A module to a B module or not? All right. For a simple example, every one of us has filed a DS-160 form. I mean the visa form, right? Most of us has filed it for entering into USA, right? So we give our details in our DS-160 form, right? And DS-160 form, at the end we get a barcode and everything, right? But when we produce into the in front of the counselor, they just take the scan of our passport, right? On scanning, they get the entire details into their system, but indirectly they don't open our DS-160, but they open the data within their system. That is another application. How is the data transmitted? With the help of the barcode scanning. Yeah, the scanning of the barcode will give the entire information. So this means the barcode is produced by DS-160 application. So this means the DS-160 application is getting in touch with the other application, the UK consulator application, and the data that the DS160 gives is with the help of a barcode. When they scan the barcode, they get the entire data. Whatever the data that you have filled, they'll be able to see that particular data within their system. So they are integrated. Okay, so this is what happens actually. Okay, so lower level, when you go into a lower level, you'll be finding all the detailer information. When I talk about DS160, it has got around 8 or 9 sections. Each and every section is very important. If you don't fill any section, user should be alerted for that. So that means you'll be having a detailer information of each and every subject area of every module, and that is what your low level design gives you. Detailed design is nothing but your low level design, complete picture. Yes, I'm talking about a login functionality. What happens if user provides invalid credentials? What happens if user provides invalid credentials for 3 number of times, 5 number of times? Like, you might have tried, if not, please try the Gmail or a Facebook. Give invalid password for thrice, then you're going to see a captcha message. Okay, give invalid message for 5 times, your Facebook account gets locked. For the next 1 hour, you are not operating. Right? So what are these things? Your positive situation has got one way, but negative situation has got many way. Why these things are implemented? To make it as a secured application. Because if there are nothing if what do you say, if the captcha or the account locking facility is not implemented, then the hackers may run a automation process which will hack the system. It may be a 10,000 attempt or a 1 lakh attempt. They'll be able to hack your application, and that is the reason why the captcha has been introduced. The main purpose of this captcha is to avoid the automation process. Like, automation tools cannot directly recognize the data that is generated dynamically. If it is a static information, automation tool will automatically recognize it. But if it is a static information, it will not be able to recognize it. Sorry, if it is a dynamic information, it will not be able to recognize it. Okay, that is the reason why they have come up with a captcha process. Okay, so this is what a lower design will have. A requirement will have any in number of scenarios. One requirement will drive into many scenarios for you. Okay, so the detailed design documentation will have all that particular information, and our test cases has to cover each and everything. We have to ensure that we are covering everything. We are not leaving a single thing. Okay, that is what we'll be having in detailed design. Once we are ready, by the time the the development will be started. Once the development is done, the developer's activity is to do a testing by themselves, which is called as unit testing. They does on their own code to see whether their code is able to give the information that the application is required to. They test their own code before delivering it to the testing team, and that kind of a testing is nothing but called as unit testing. Okay, so they test the code, not the output of that particular code, but they test the code. But code is nothing but the source code. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to add. Okay, I'm writing a code here. I'm trying to add 2 numbers. Yeah, this is a small program. This is a C program. Okay, this is nothing but my source code.
this guy there.
I'm sorry. What happened? What happened? Hmm. Super. This is the first time we are facing these many technical issues. Yeah. Sorry? Huh?
Then you can go back and next one.
Okay, super. But I don't know whether they'll be able to see it or not. Why? I have made it duplicate also.
That's
Okay.
the second desktop, right?
Yeah, it's a second desktop, but I made it a duplicate because I should see and you should see because
Okay.
I need not to see over there, right? And I believe online people, do you able to see this? Do you able to see my screen? Do you able to see the notepad, please? No. Even now, you are not able to see the notepad. What's going wrong here? Uh-huh. Not able to see. Okay. Okay, let me do this. Just give 1 minute. Sorry. I should be able to see now. Perfect. I believe everyone able to see now. Online. Yes, perfect. Thanks. Okay. All right. So this is a small program. This is a program. Okay. This is a small program. Okay. I did not compile it, so I don't. I will not see any errors now. Okay. This small C program that I have written here. I'm gonna print off the result. I have not compiled it, so I don't know whether this is correct or not. Okay. Now this is nothing but my source code. All right. developers will be writing such kind of a codes. Okay, it depends on the language the application is built on. If it is a Java language, they'll be writing a Java code with the all the objects, classes, and methods, whatever they wanted to do. They keep all those things within their code, and that code is nothing but called as your source code. Okay, but we will not be working on this particular source code. We will be working on the executable part of this source code. That means whenever this is executed, he will be creating an executable file for us. Whenever that is accessed by us, what we can see is we can see three options. First, it will ask us to enter a value for a, because I have to pass a value for a there within this particular program. Then I have to pass a value for b. Then if I click on enter, it will show me the result like c is equal to, or c is. This is what my objective of this particular program. Okay, now here at the time of unit testing, what the developer does is, developer will be looking at his own code. Okay, he'll be testing his own code. He'll not be looking at the output of it. First, he'll be testing his own code to ensure that whether his code will give the proper results or not. Okay, before delivering it. That means he's going to get a confidence over his own code, and that process is nothing but called as unit testing. Okay, but we as a test engineers, we are going to work on an executable part of that particular code, output of that particular code. Okay, as very simple. If this building, in order to construct this building, there are some, if it is made of wood, you can see some wooden planks under it, I mean inside it. There may be many things that are inside it, but do we able to see that? No, we are seeing the structure of it. We are only able to see the output of that, but internally it has got many things within it, which we never know. Only the one who has constructed this can know that. So one, at the time of his construction, he'll be checking his own things, right? He'll directly not go with the implementation. He'll just lay everything. He'll take all the measurements. He'll check by himself twice or thrice to ensure that he is coming with the right thing or not. Right? Same is the case with the application. He'll be checking his own code, and that kind of a testing is nothing but called as your unit testing. And at the time of your unit testing, we will be having the components for us, or the modules. So where we'll be carrying our module testing or your component testing, thereby we'll be carrying with our integration testing activities, then our system testing, then UAT testing activities. So that side will be having all the validation part done. Why am I saying validation there? Because I'm going to get the executable output of that particular application. I'm going to get that. So I'll be having a handy application for me where I'm going to work on it. Okay, so what is the baseline for that? What is the baseline for validation? What is the basis? What is the basis for us? What is the basis? No? Okay. With the help of, I mean, we are doing that particular activities with the help of, test cases that we have prepared during validation. Sorry, verification. Thank you. Integration. LLD here. Yeah, unit testing, it is done by our developers. All right, what we do is we go with the module testing or component testing. Right, down part is nothing but the coding. If we see the structure, what we are going to do here, we are going to come up with UAT test cases. Okay, I did not give this information to the last people, right? Here we are going to build our system test cases. Here I'm going to come up with integration test cases, TC. And here, as a test engineer, we'll be coming up with our component test cases or module test cases, right? Whereas developer will be writing their own cases called as unit test cases. In order to do unit testing, they have to come up with their own test cases.
Question.
Yes, please.
So on the HLD phase, so our software architecture is already developed, right?
Which one?
On the high level design
Okay.
phase of architecture is already designed, right?
Right.
And then they're testing on that architecture where the different units talk to each other.
Right.
Right?
Right. Because on a high level view, you'll be having all the units, right? So you have to ensure that all the units are communicating each other so that it forms a complete system.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what a V model here. Okay, so what is happening here within V model? This side, entire this direction, what is happening here? We are going to follow verification process. Okay, we are going to follow the verification process, and this side we are going to follow the validation process. Okay, verification and validation. During our verification, what are we trying to come up with? We are trying to come up with the UAT cases or whatever the test cases that we are going to do, right, with the available documentation. If we are in the requirements gathering phase, we'll be able to we'll be implementing the UAT cases. If you are in the analysis part, we'll be writing the system test cases, and the high level design documentation will be going with our integration cases, and LLD area will be going up with our component cases. So we are doing an activity. Unlike in the case of your waterfall model, testers are not made idle until the development is completed. Here testers are involved right from the initial phase. Why are they need to be involved right from the initial phase? To reduce the cost of fixing the defect. And that concept is nothing but your early test. Okay? So is this model advantageous over waterfall model or not?
It's more advantageous, but I have a question.
Yes, please. Yeah.
When you gather all your, like from the beginning,
Mhm.
when you do all the testing up to the stage where you get to the coding now, you are assuming that everything is done because you've been doing testing on it at every stage and you're fixing all the problems, right? You are assuming up to the part where you get to the LLD, the component test case area. Now, what if you put the code in and everything is wrong? What happens?
No. Did I say that? Okay. Did I say that I'm going everything in parallel? No, right? So once I have the requirements gathering, okay, once all the requirements are gathered, I'll be preparing my UAT test cases completely. Okay. By the time BA would be analyzing it. Now at this point of time, if I have any questions over these requirements, what am I going to do? I'm going to create an RCN in notes for BA who will be talking to the client technical person and who will be coming up with the solutions. Yes. So whereby I'm ensuring that these are in perfect shape, right? Yes. These are in coordination. Likewise, here also, this is done. Now my activity is to work with system test cases. Now I'm gonna, again, if I have any clarification, I'm gonna come up with the RCN. By the time this is done, all right, if I have any, this will be again sending to the BA. Yeah. And by the time we are going with the LAD, the what do you say? The implementation is going to get started, right? If the main thing for the coding standards is they'll be referring this documentation, they'll be referring this documentation, right? Complete system requirement documentation will be there, complete BRD will be there. Okay. Even at the time of coding, even developers has to write the logic, right? So at the time of writing the logic, even they'll raise the questions to the BA. They have their own activity. We are concentrating on testing activity. They have their own activity. So at every point of time, there is a chance of us bringing the BA into picture to get more clarifications. Yes.
So it constantly involves user interface, right? Talking with user.
Yeah.
For the process.
Yes, constantly. Because I mean, he will not be able to see the handy application. He is not going to see any handy application.
But you're getting him involved.
To get our things clarified.
Exactly.
That is what missing in case of your waterfall model. Okay.
So it's more bilateral. Waterfall was unilateral.
Okay, you can say it's only partly bilateral, not completely. Now you'll understand the difference between partly bilateral and completely bilateral in the next model. Okay. Now, all right, there are a few questions. Basically, except the execution, all the process of testing is prepared parallelly with. Yes, except the execution. In order to do the execution, you need to have an handy application. Till then, what you do? You're gonna make all your things ready, which will be helping you during your validation process. Okay. Fine, Madhavi? Yes. All right. So this is about your V model. Okay. This is an advantage. This is overcoming the disadvantage of your waterfall model, where the testing is initiated right from your requirement phase, where you're trying to come up with a point called as early testing, which will reduce the cost of fixing the defects. Now again, I say this particular model is not that advantageous to our real world.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's still the user has to wait until at the end
Perfect.
to see the application.
Perfect. And during our validation part, I did not say that I'm bringing user into picture, but during verification, I brought him into picture because I need a clarification on the requirements. That is why I'm bringing user into picture. But during validation, I never brought him into picture until the delivery is done. So that means it's not a completely bilateral. You understanding? Any question? All right. So, right. So user is not completely involved. He'll be able to see the handy application only at the end. Right? Now, this lays another, what do you say? This lays another foundation for another model, which is incremental model. Okay. Very simple. The concept of incremental is very simple. I have 100 logs for you, and you need to break it. Will you break all the 100 logs at once? What would you do?
One at a time.
One at a time, or depends on your capability. It depends on your capability. If you're good, if your machine is good enough, it may break 4 at a time or 10 at a time. It totally depends on your capability. Right? The entire projects also, they will not go with the implementation of all the projects at once, or the complete project at once. The other models were, I mean, V and waterfall model was giving that kind of instance, like taking the entire work at once, only after completion we are delivering it. All right, that throws a negative impression because user has to stay idle, and at the end, if user says this is not what he expected, then again we have to redo the things. Right, again we have to correct ourselves and we have to redo the things. Now here, the incremental model says that, okay, break the things, go part by part. Okay, let me take a healthcare application now. Already we discussed this. Let me take it again. No, okay, let me rest this. All right. So if I take a healthcare application has got an important modules like enrollment, main important modules. Okay, enrollment, billing. All right, claims. All right. Let's say these are the things, and let me bring another one: common services. These are the main important modules that you see in case of your enroll in your healthcare industry. Every user has to enroll, whereby the billing cycle is going to be generated for each and every user. And if at all he goes for any hospital that is not within his network, then he has to claim for it, right? Based on the terms and conditions that he has with the insurance. What do you say? Insurance uh, vendor or whoever it is. Okay. Now here, let's say I got an Aetna project, and they want their healthcare application to be developed. Now, what I'll do is I'll break the application into part by part. Okay. First, I'll go with the enrollment process. I'll take the enrollment work, I'll finish it off, and then I deliver it. Then I'll go with the billing. Right? I implement the billing, I deliver to him. Then I'll go with the claims. I'll implement it, I'll deliver to him. Then I'll go with the common services. Right? I implement the common services, I deliver to him. Again, after enrollment and billing are ready, what I'll do, I integrate enrollment and billing and I deliver it to him. That will be another work. Likewise, I'll integrate enrollment billing already integrated, I'll integrate claims to it. Then I integrate common services. Only then my complete system is going to be formed. I'm not eating everything in one day, but I'm eating it in smaller by smaller pieces, whereby I'm becoming healthy. Right? Making sense? This is what an incremental model says. Now here, this is a bit advantageous when compared to earlier models. So how is it advantageous? Now here, at least you are delivering enrollment to him. He is not required to wait until the entire healthcare application to be developed and delivered. At least he can see a part of the work done, that is regarding your enrollment. Likewise, he is going to be ready with a part of the work that is done on the billing section or a claims section or a common services. Then he is having information regarding the integration part of enrollment and billing. So likewise, by the end, every area, there will be every possible area where user is able to see the work done by the team. At least he will be having a handy application to see how the project is progressing. Right? Making sense? Right? So this is what an incremental model says. Go by pieces, go by step in a normal way, so that you'll be able to build the entire application. Okay? Clear? All right. So then we have another model called as RAD, which says Rapid Application Development Model. It is similar to your integration model, I mean incremental model, but in a bit different way. What is that difference?
What is the disadvantage of it?
Disadvantage of incremental model? Okay. Now, at the time of your enrollment process, okay, at the time of your one module, okay, if user has got another set of requirements on already completed module, then what he has to do? He has to wait until all the modules are developed, because this work is already done. They are on other work now. The team is on other work. Or he has to either have another team placed on the next coming requirements, or he has to wait. Okay, making sense? Already a part of work is done and delivered. All right, now the team has taken another part of the work. Now if this work has got some change requirements, if he wants to make any changes to this particular work, then he has to hire some other resources, some other team to get this change requirements implemented. And also he has to ensure that these requirements are meeting the billing section also. Making sense?
Also, you don't know beforehand if the two systems talk in sync.
That is another point. Okay. Were you able to understand? Right. This model will give you the disadvantage of that model. So if you wait with some patience, this model will throw why rapid application model has come into picture. All right. All right. So this is my complete Athna application. Okay. As I took. Now I divided into 4 segments. What are the segments? Enrollment, billing, claims, common services. Okay. Now what was happening in case of our incremental model? First we are going with the enrollment, complete the enrollment, then we are jumping into billing, then complete it, then going to claims, then going to common services, then integrate the things that are needed for the communication purpose. But rapid application model says that I'll be having a dedicated team for working on enrollment. I'll be having a dedicated team for billing environment. I'll be having a dedicated team for clients. I'll be having a dedicated team for common services. Earlier, one team was working on all the things.
Concurrent.
Yes. Now here, what is happening? You have individual teams working on individual modules
But at the same time.
at the same time. Now let's say for completion of enrollment, we need 30 days. Okay. For billing, we need 30 days. For claims, we need 30 days. For common services, we need 30 days. Let's assume that. So the total implementation of modules itself will take 120 days. Then integration things will come into picture. Let's do not concentrate on it. Let's understand this. If I follow the incremental model, I have to wait for 120 days in order to have all the modules developed and delivered. Right? But if I follow RAD, I'll be having everything in 30 days because I have an individual team working on each and every module simultaneously. I start the enrollment work, you start the billing work, he start the claims, and you start the common services. Both are everyone are starting on the same time and ending on the same time. So I'll be completing it in 30 or if not 35. It depends on the schedule variance and everything. Okay. So 30 or 35, but it is comparatively less than what you do other model. Okay.
Manpower.
Sorry.
Manpower.
Yeah, manpower increases, but the same you're gonna pay. You're gonna what do you say? Apply the same thing for 120 days. You're reducing it to 30 days, right? See, same manpower working for 120 days is equal to multiple manpowers working on 30 days, right? Everything is same. Okay, a slight difference, but everything would be the same. But the important challenge within this particular module is every team should be effective enough.
You should have the same level of
Same level of capability. That is what it is required in RAD model. Right? Right? I am working on enrollment. I should be capable enough like you are. Otherwise, my deliverables would be delayed, whereas your deliverables would be faster. Right? If I cannot catch the same pace as everyone are, then I'll be lagging. Enrollment will be lagging. Right? So that is what the project manager has to take care of when going with this kind of models. So did you understand the disadvantage of incremental model here? Now the disadvantage of incremental model is, now yes, I have developed enrollment. I have developed billing. I have developed claims. By then, the client wants some changes to enrollment. Here, a single person is working on all the things. Now, in order to make these particular changes, he has to wait for everything to be completed, or else he has to hire some more new persons to work on this. So this is an cost effective one. He has to apply additional cost for it. Alright. Whereas if the same situation is coming in RAD model, he has a dedicated team. So irrespective of the position where they are in, if there are new changes, he can post them the new changes. Right? Understandable? What am I saying?
What do you say about the cost?
Okay. Here. See, this is the enrollment module. This is the billing module. So in case of your incremental model, one team working on all the modules. Okay. Durga is working, Durga is working, Durga is working in all the modules. He's going by part. Once enrollment is done, then he's jumping into billing, then claims, then common services. Alright, assume that Durga is in claims. He is working on claims. By that time, the client wants some more additional information to be added within enrollment. Assume that in the initial enrollment is only for single registration, but now a family registration and couple registrations. He wants to add both the things in case of your enrollment. Making sense? Right? That means they are change requirements. He wants to add additional requirements to the enrollment feature. Now Durga is working on claims, so he cannot disturb Durga to go back and work on enrollment. Then he has to hire someone called as Satish to work on this, or he has to arrange some other people to work on that particular change requirements. Likewise, the same thing has to be reflected in billing also. Billing is already implemented, it's already delivered. If there is a multiple registration here, the same will be reflecting in your billing as well, right? So here also he has to have another resources hiring. So that means he has to have a backup resources who will be working on the enhancements. And backup resources will be always a costing, additional cost to your project.
In any case, incremental or rapid testing, if you change your requirement, it's going to cost you more.
You're going to work, right? Because you're not going to have an additional resources, right? You're going to have the same resources working in RAD model, and that is going to save your time, right?
The rapid model development, right?
Sorry?
You're talking about the rapid
Yeah.
model. Now, if you're doing the incremental and you change your requirements, it's going to cost you more, and then it's even going to waste more time because you have only one set of things and you have to start everything all over again.
Yes. You're going to cost you more and you're going to waste your time as well, right? Your time is also going to be increased for the final delivery, right? Whereas your rapid, it goes with the less time.
Yes.
Deliverables are quick. Yeah, it takes cost, but less time. That is very handy for him, right? Making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a RAD model, rapid application development model. That means what you're going to do, you're implementing the application in a rapid, fast way. Break the things, start implementing everything together and deliver the things at once. You have a dedicated team, but the only challenge here is every team should be same set of things. Another disadvantage, okay, if billing person has to work on enrollment, he has to have the knowledge of enrollment as well, because this is required at the time of integration process. Like all the modules are developed perfect, but at the time of integration, two modules has to talk to each other or three modules has to talk to each other. Then the person should be having the same knowledge as of the other module person. They have to have the same what do you say, the technical stuff, and not according to the testing perspective, but according to the subject perspective, the domain perspective. Okay.
The billing guy has to know everything about the
Enrollment. How does the billing will change? Like let's say there's a single registration type earlier for which you billed $100. All right. Suddenly he got married, so he'll be adding his spouse to his registration. So he becomes a couple registration. So what happens for that particular scenario? His billing has to be changed because he has to include his wife into that particular registration type. As a result, his premium amount changes. That has to take an effect on the billing module. Making sense? So two or more modules have to always talk to each other, or will always talk to each other. So they have to have the same understanding throughout the project. Okay. All right. Then comes another model. Any questions online? You good? All right. So then comes another model called as prototype. Prototype model. With that, we'll end for today. Prototype model. So what is prototype?
Maybe a small replica of actual application and test.
Perfect. Small replica of an actual application. A very simple example. You go to a sweet vendor shop. You see n different kinds of sweets, right? You don't know how the sweet tastes for you. So what does the vendor do? He gives a piece of it, a sample, to test it. You go to the Walmart, they give samples, right? Costco, they give the samples. Why do they give you that?
To understand what you're getting eventually.
To understand what exactly that is. If you really like it, then you'll go with that particular complete implementation. Right? You do not know anything about it first. They're going to give you a new set of product to you. You do not know anything about it, but they give you a sample. Why they give you? If it is equivalent to the taste that you're looking for, then you'll take the entire thing. They're going to give you only bit. With that particular bit, you're taking an entire confirmation or entire decision based on that particular sample. Right? The same kind of an approach is implemented in case of software engineering. And why is this model has come into picture is, yes, Cybertech Soul wanted to go, yes, we are into development, but they wanted to acquire new clients. Okay, so we are in the market, we are in the sales market. Okay, now a person, let's say Aetna has come to us. They'll ask us, like, what have you done so far? Have you ever worked on healthcare applications? What is your how expertise you are on healthcare applications? What have you? Who is your client? They'll be asking a number of questions. We'll be showing our testimonials as well, because clients would be giving us the feedback. We'll be showing our testimonials. But Aetna may take a decision directly by looking at the testimonials or may not, because they want their application to be in a quality manner. They want a quality application as an output now. So what they need, they want to have a confidence on Cybertech Soul. Right? They want to have a confidence on Cybertech Soul. So what they go with? They go with a POC, proof of concept. POC. Proof of concept. So what is this for? This proof of concept will have, I'm sorry. Yes, this proof of concept will have a piece of requirements given by Aetna, and what they need us to work on this particular proof of concept and deliver it for them. And if they really like the work done by us on the proof of concept, then they will handle the entire project for us. That's the next set of project. So why are they doing this? To gain the confidence. Yes, if I put my work in the hands of Cybertech Soul, I'll be getting a quality application as an output. Rather than spending entire money at once, they'll be spending a least amount with which they're going to take a decision. And there are two different things in case of POC. There are paid POCs, they are conditional paid POCs, they are non-paid POCs. Three things, sorry. When I say paid POC, the client is going to pay for the POC that we are going to implement and deliver. You getting sleep? Tired today? I'll stop it at just 5 minutes, okay? Fine. When I say paid POC, you're going to get paid. Yeah, you're going to get paid for the activities that you do regarding the POC. When I say conditional paid POC, the conditional paid POC will be paid only if the proof of concept is approved by the Aetna or by the client. Non-paid POCs, it is only the thing that we have to do. It is it's the complete risk of Cybertech Soul. Okay, they are going to arrange their own resources. They are going to implement the POC and deliver it. Now they have to take enough care that this POC is appreciated by Aetna, else they'll be losing the money. If at all they are appreciated, they'll be getting an entire project. Okay, so this is what a prototype model is for. Okay, now once they get the project, like let's say I went with a POC. Okay, POC is approved by the client. What will be the next set of model?
What did you say?
Okay, I gave Aetna has given a little bit of work for us. We have developed it, delivered it. So Aetna is impressed on Cybertech Soul. They want to give the entire set of project to us.
You're gonna start on that again.
We're gonna start the entire project, and there
What is
it
rapid or incremental?
yes,
Yeah.
you cannot directly
Yeah.
say it, right?
You can
And
decide.
there the client will come into picture where he'll say what model he wants to go with. If he wants everything in done in a very less number of duration, he may suggest rapid.
But my question is,
Yes.
when you do the POC,
Hmm.
will the model you're gonna, because you're gonna choose the model
Because
to do your
the
POC,
yes,
will that model be the model the client is gonna eventually use?
yes. Now point to be added here is will you be spending more time on a POC?
No?
No. So that means what you'll do, you'll make a team ready here. You make them effectively work on that particular POC. Because client has given certain POC requirements. You'll not wait for the client thing. Now you'll not be waiting for the client decision for a waterfall model or a V model, but you want everything to be implemented. So you give your requirements to the development team, everyone will be here. In order to have that particular POC, client will be having a definite requirements for us. Based on that, he want to assess us, and based on this, he want to take a decision. So here on the POC, the client will never say the model that you wanted to follow. It is totally our decision. The quick that deliver, the quick we deliver, the quality we deliver, we're gonna see the next best thing that is going to come with us. Right? Clear? So that is what the prototype model is all about. It is generally a proof of concept to gain the confidence. But what is the disadvantage?
You may lose money.
You may lose money. Okay, perfect.
Well, the prototype itself might be wrong prototype the way customer.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thing is, okay, you developed a prototype. Perfect. The points are accepted. You developed a prototype. That is partially appreciated by Aetna, and they want some more changes to the prototype. Then again you make those particular changes, again you deliver it, still Aetna is not satisfied. So this process goes on to take his complete satisfaction. And the worst thing would be when this particular POC is not a paid POC.
Your resources will be consumed.
So it's a high risk that if the customer is not satisfied with the POC, then you are going to end up working on the prototype. If the sweet vendor shop has got 100 customers, everyone is testing some part of the sweet and no one is buying it. He'll be ending up in losing all the sweets, earning no money. That will happen here as well. Okay, so the team will take enough care to build a POC in such a way that it should be appreciated. It will be appreciated. Okay, clear? Yes. Any questions?
Yeah, for the question.
Yes, please.
For the two first models, so we see the testing part, how the testing going to. But for the last two that we just share, so we didn't talk about the testing part, but we talked about how the requirement.
You mean to say in rapid model and iteration model?
Yes.
So here, when I say that we are taking in iterations or we are going in a rapid, I have a dedicated team working over there, right? I have a dedicated team working over there. So I have a complete set of requirements whereby the testing team will be working on their own test cases because the requirements are very less when compared to the entire project. So the testing team will be going with their own set of test cases. That means they are going to do their verification while the development will be working on that particular part and they're going to deliver it. We're going to validate it. So that will be carried out. Okay. Right. So there is another question. What kind of companies use this kind of models? It depends, Madhavi. So I cannot directly say the names of the companies. Okay. It totally depends. Okay. I worked for Value Labs earlier. We had around 140 clients where we had every kind of models implemented. We have waterfall model, we have V model, we have agile methodology, and most of our projects are prototype models. Okay, you see IKEA here, you see WebMD, you see Aetna, BCBS, all these particular. I mean, I worked on all these particular clients throughout my career in Valley Labs. before I coming here. So I even visited South Carolina where I went for benefit focus where we work for all the insurance companies here.
I
So
think if the product is sort of application is a new domain, completely new domain, you may want to test it first for
perfect.
prototype.
That is the one. That is the place where you'll be going with the prototype. Completely new domain, and the client do not have any idea about your company whether you really delivered or not. But I'll definitely say that yes, I worked on that particular domain because I don't want to lose that. So then definitely he will be asking for a prototype. So it all depends, Madhavi. I cannot give a direct what do you say answer for it. Okay, so what is today's?
We don't have class on Friday, right?
On Friday we don't have.
Okay, so tomorrow is last day.
Yeah, tomorrow is last day. Okay, so I see.
We are done for today.
Yes, eager to go.
Yeah, I want to go. See you tomorrow.
See you. See you guys. Yes, Sonija, could you please provide the document? Yeah, I'm sending them, Madhavi and Sonija. Sonija, haven't you got, I mean, haven't you seen your spam? If not, just let me know your email IDs, please. Sonija, Madhavi, and we have another person, Pranita. Please send your email IDs, please. So I'll send it to Arvind, who will be forwarding you all this information. So I hope everyone is getting the